Hey YouTube land, welcome to another video. As you can see behind me is the Tiger. I'm revisiting my Triumph Tiger 800XC after the Adventure Bike Festival, which you may remember in my preparation video that I did replace the clutch cable because I was a bit suspicious of the cable, and after I replaced the cable I was suspicious still, and I did say that I was going to take a look at the clutch after the festival. Now here we are taking a look at the clutch. So as you can see, the cover is off behind me, as well as the clutch plates are out. Let's take a nosy at that. Okay, right, so I pulled the clutch plates out and I'll just slide these into shot there like that. The trouble I have with some of these videos is I tend to talk too much or talk too quickly, and like I'm in a rush and I balls it all up. Anyway, so these are the clutch plates. You are looking at them as you would see them in the basket once you've taken the case off. So these are the clutch plates. I took them out, I started removing them, and I found a few things. Right, so if you can see them there, I'll just slide them to one side, and so I can show you as I remove them. So I took that one out, checked it out, that looks okay, so that one went like that. Actually that is the back, isn't it? Yes, I do apologise, that is the back, so I'm talking bollocks. So anyway, so I'll start again. That is the clutch plate stack as you see them when you take the case off. So I'll again slide them there. Right, so I took that one off. That seemed okay to me. Obviously had some wear, so I placed that to one side. Took the second one off. It looks a bit more grubby than the first one, doesn't it? I think you will agree. I flipped it over, and again, a bit grubby. You can see all this black crap all around here. So, what's going on there? So again, the third one in the series. Again, a little cleaner, but again, still a lot of black crap everywhere. And I must say, they weren't as wet as I originally thought either, despite having a full sump of oil. It's not like I let it run dry or anything like that. So they were sticking. I think the clutch has always been a bit iffy on this bike. It does get kind of hot. Anyway, so I kept removing them, and they all look kind of much of a muchness, as you can see, until however I got to this one, and as you can see, that is what we like to call in the business a fucking state. So obviously one side is better than the other. As you can see, that side, this side here, has barely any friction pad material left, and it's right down to the actual clutch plate itself, which I'm not overly impressed with. This one is kind of similarly covered in crap, et al. And then we have the one at back, which is a bit thinner in the section width, should we say. So that is clutch plate. So I decided that they basically wanted chucking in the bin, and I needed some new ones. So a quick visit to the internet, and a day or so later I have this nice set of EBC clutch plates. Let's take a look inside the box. So zoom out there in a very undignified manner. Pop the box open. Inside we can see a load of fresh clutch plates. Let's tip them out of the box and have a look. If you're going to buy such a thing, this is what you can expect to find. So there's still another one in there. Oh the calamity of it all. Right, so here we have brand new clutch plates. They've not seen anything yet, not seen any action. Obviously they're still in the box. So they look nice. They are basically just clutch plates. You're just looking at inanimate objects which haven't been used yet. But I thought I'd show them to you what they look like out of the box. So what do we need to do before we pop these in? Well, I'm glad you didn't ask that, and I just asked the question for you. They need to be soaked in oil, so I'm going to pop them there. And as if by magic, this plastic box appears. Other shaped boxes are available. we need to soak these clutch plates. They need to be soaked in the oil that you're going to use in your engine. And you can leave them in there for a minimum of a few hours to a couple of days. It doesn't really matter. It matters not. What matters is that the clutch plates are in fact soaked in oil. So with that done and dusted, we can put them to one side. What I would like to show you now, and what any clutch overhaul is not complete with, and that's a clutch spring check as well. So here we have a clutch spring. This is one of the old ones. Now, what you would like to do, what you might want to do, is get yourself a vernier. Please forgive the crudeness of the vernier. It is actually only one out of a budget German grocery store. I can't remember which one. It's got 4 letters in the title, but I don't remember which one it is. Work Zone. Which one is that? That is Aldi, isn't it? If I'm not, because Parkside is the little one. Anyway, so get your vernier. I've got a Mitutoyo one at work, but that's at work, not here. So take our measure the free length of the clutch spring. Now the sun is shining through the roof here, so it's a little bit difficult to get this on camera. So 43.95. There we go, 43.95. Now, I don't know what the clutch spring free length is, because I couldn't find it on the internet. So, what I have got, brand new official Triumph clutch springs. Brand new in the packet, came the other day. So, come in a little baggie. I haven't undone these yet. They're actually in individual bags. Is it me, or is that like a waste of material? Is that a waste of plastic? So I need 5 clutch springs. They come in 5 little bags. All those little bags are going to go in a bin. I don't want to sound like a tree hugger, but that is it's actually a genuine waste of material, if you ask me. So that's a brand new one out of the bag, as you can see. I'll just build it out. 43.95. This one is, let's have a measure. Feels longer straight away. Well, seems like the clutch springs wanted overhauling as well. So 45.4. Let's have a look, see what they look like side by side, shall we? So the one on the left is the old spring, the one on the right is the new spring. As you can clearly see, there is easily at least 1.5 to 2 mil difference there. So the clutch springs were definitely in need of renewing. So brand new clutch plates and brand new clutch springs. Job's a good one. Now I did check the steels. They were all flat and all within tolerance. So that was good. So with the clutch plates in their little oil bath, we can set about taking the old gasket off the case. Now, as you can see, I've already removed mine. I found an easy way actually, because some of these little crevices around here and in here can be quite difficult to get to with like a Stanley blade or something like that. Now years ago I was working in a precision engineering place, and I was given a load of these came in from a customer or supplier or something like that as like a freebie. Now you've probably seen these about, like a little knife and scalpel set. Let's just bring that in here. As you can see, some of the blades are actually rusty. I've never actually used this before, so it's just been nestled, kicking around in my toolbox, and rather lately, since I changed careers, kicking around in my shed. So, but alas, what I did find, now these things you can pick up quite cheaply at I don't know, markets, car boot stalls, or on eBay or something like that. Now this one here, you want this flat bladed one here, and with the nice big handle, pop that in there, and it is actually the ideal gasket scraper. Now I didn't realise this until I actually gave it a go, and it actually worked a treat. Just be a bit diligent and try not to dig in too much, eh? But yes, if you are stuck for a gasket scraper or anything like that, if you can get hold of one of these for like a couple of bob off eBay or something like that, then I do recommend it, because it is a bit of one of those little like, cheap hack things that people go on about. So there we go. You've got to get the get the old gasket off, and then you can go from there. So now you've had your friction plates sat in its oil bath for a couple of hours, it's time to reassemble the whole shebang. So we get our two skinny shims that came out the back, smear a bit of oil on them, nice bit of fresh oil, that's all you need really, and the flat one goes at the back. So we slide that in nicely, that should seat there, and then we get the concaved one, that goes in over the top. So you want to give that a smear of oil as well. I'm just using the oil in which the clutch plates have been sat in, so we stick that sort of like cone shaped out. So then, once we do, by the way, also I've measured my clutch pack thickness, and it is 42.34, so that's in tolerance, up near the top end, not too far up near the top end, but it's in tolerance. So we get our lower profile clutch plate, that one goes at the back, so we slide that in. Hopefully you won't making too much of a balls up of it. We grab a friction plate and we slide that on. And this caper carries on until they're all on. So once we've got those on, it's time to put the main pressure plate back on. So line that up, wedge that on there. Now it's time to put on our new clutch springs. So we take our brand new clutch springs, one goes on in there. Next it's time to put the bolts in, so they just sit in there like that. So the thing about torque wrenches is everyone's got their favourite. Now I like to use, not that side, I like to use the Norbar range of torque wrenches. I do have them in all the ranges up until 150 newtons. So by hook or by crook I've managed to get hold of the Norbar one. So I have those in my collection, but obviously you're free to use whatever you choose. The clutch spring bolts have to be torqued up to 10 newtons. So just make sure you preset your torque wrench before you carry on. Now I could have obviously carried on doing this with this, but in the name of transparency, I thought I would just take up the slack of the bolt. Obviously that's not quite enough, so if you were to do that with a torque wrench you'd be there forevermore. So right, there we go, and that's all. Just once it slips, move on to the next one. Obviously those more versed in doing clutches every day or whatever, more frequently than I, would have done this bit by now already. But there we go, 10 Newton meters clutch springs on the Triumph Tiger 800 XC. Next on the list of the bits to get on is the brand new gasket. So we take the brand new gasket, should come in a flat packed envelope or something similar, card backed for flatness. This is an official Triumph one, but obviously others are available, like Athena or whatever they're called, etc. So go with that. Unfortunately for me, I only had one dowel left in the casing. The other dowel that normally lives there is actually in the exterior casing here. Wherever it is. There it is, at the top. So I've got to try and line those up. So without further ado, let's get on with that. Obviously that has to go in here. Sorry, I didn't even get that on camera. That has to line up. The little spigot has to fit in here. So I'm going to mess around with that for a sec. Hopefully not too much messing around. Obviously, hopefully it's just I'm hoping it should just be a fitty bit, and it shouldn't cause too many problems. I don't think that's lined up. We could be here for some time. Okay, so I've only just realised that the one thing that's stopping this from opening up so I can get it on the spigot is the plastic guard that sits here. So don't be a fool like me and not take that off. Take that off at the beginning. So if you already knew that, well done to you. I didn't, so there we go. I wasted like 30 seconds of my day figuring that out. So let's get this cover on. So I've got the whole rigmarole lining the dowels up and lining up with a gasket as well, which seems to have gone a bit peaked on, as they say, as we used to say in the 90s, and still do now actually. So after the rigmarole of getting that cover on, we line this up with the cable, with the clutch cable, get the niffle through the hole, get that all done and dusted, so that's good. And then we want to start with the bolts. Now personally I like to stick a little bit of copper slip on the bolts, that is my preference. And as you would have found upon removing the bolts from the cover when you took the whole thing off, that the longer ones go in the holes with the dowels. So we'll just wind them in first. I'll get a few threads started actually. Now lots of people won't bother with copper slip, but it's just a little thing. You don't have to put a load on, it's just a little something, because no matter how you try, moisture does get in there. And you could find, or not even you actually, it could be someone else. You could sell a bike on later on and someone else could have the trouble. But to save any kind of caper like that, especially during excuse me, especially during your own ownership, then there's a little smear of copper slip on the threads, just enough to keep any kind of corrosion at bay in the threads. So it doesn't have to be a lot. Actually, scratch what I said a moment ago about getting the niffle through the hole, because I was clearly jumping the gun with that. As one often can. We've got to get the bolt in that hole, which would help. Right, so there we go. Just going to whip around it quickly like that, get a couple of threads in. And as you know, there is actually quite a fair number of bolts there. So, stick in a drill. Well, what I'm going to do anyway, I'm going to stick in a drill, put it on the lowest setting going, number 1. So the clutch will give out, clutch on the drill will give out once you reach a certain thing, although that is obviously too loose. There we go, clearly too loose on there. So we're going to grab our torque wrench, our Norbar torque wrench, there we go, Norbar, thank you, you owe me lots of money. Right, so I'm going to set that for the shorter bolts, which are the ones not in the dowels. They are going to be 9 newtons. So we're going to set the torque wrench to 9 newtons. Right, 9 newtons it is. Let's start at the top, work our way round. There we go. That's the dowel one. Move to the next one. Next one. Next one, I forgot that one. Next one, that's the dowel one. There we go. Now, the 2 dowel ones are actually 10 newtons, so we'll adjust our torque wrench. And then 10 newtons, and we'll do those 2 up. So that's that bit done, that's the case all on. And then 10 newtons, and we'll do those 2 up. So that's that bit done, that's the case all on. Right, so they're all torqued up, ready to go. Just got to put this plastic guard on. Now, similar again, I'd just like to smear a bit of copper slip on the bolts there. Just because you are putting steel bolts into an aluminium casing, and if you are doing a lot of off-road or you are riding in all weathers, moisture can get in there and will get in there. It's a fact. And you could find yourself with a sheared off bolt head if you are not careful the next time you go to remove these bolts. So a little bit of copper slip goes a long way. I don't think there's any specific torque that these have to be, just use your loaf. If you are experienced in taking things apart, then you'll have a rough idea as to how heavy to lean on it. Right, so that is all on, done and dusted, except for got to adjust the clutch cable. Hey, right, so that's all done. That's all set up, hopefully, but it's still a bit of a weird thing. Now, this is a new thing to me. So, just before the ABR, I did put a new cable on there, and I have put new clutch springs and a new friction plates in there. Everything is tickety-boo and within tolerance. So, I have just found this out, which is a bit weird. Take a look. So, upon pulling of the clutch lever, as you can see, things are moving in there, so that is good. However, I'm not overly convinced that this is for the best. As you can see, the adjuster at the clutch lever end is all the way out, practically, which it wasn't like that before, and it's a bit strange. And at the bottom end, it's all of its adjustment is nearly taken up, so I don't know really what's going on there. It seems to be working, but it just doesn't smell right to me. If you've got an idea as to what that could possibly be, because everything is tickety-boo, leave a comment below. That'd be fantastic. Thank you. Okay, I've just run the thing up and it does seem alright. I let it get up to temperature. I sneaked it into first gear and back out again, up and down, or in and out, and let it all out, up and down the driveway for a few minutes, and it all seems okay. But the real proof in the pudding will be the riding, just to see how it improves things. Anyway, I've also got another little thing as well, and that is the matter of this thing here, the old gear change rubber. Look at the state of that. Now I do have another one here. It's an official Triumph one. It is. They're like literally like £2.50 or something. They're like a couple of quid. There's really no need to carry on riding with something that looks like that. So if you've got a gear change rubber that really looks like that, have a word with yourself and just put your hand in your pocket for a couple of quid. It's just one of those things. It looks crap. Probably going to ruin your boots as well, because the rubber's worn away at the tip and you're going to just wear your boots out. So for the sake of a few quid for a new gear change rubber, no brainer to me. Right, let's get that old one off and get this new one on, shall we? Okay, so my weapon of choice is a good old-fashioned Stanley knife. Whether it will cut the mustard or not is another matter. So just run that down there a few times, it should come off. There we go. And off it comes. There we go, right. Stanley blade, Stanley job, Stanley knife did its job, so that's good. There we go, nice and clean. I might give that a wipe off. This thing can go in the bin, and we'll put a new one on. Okay, so let's get a new one on there. Smeared a bit of red rubber grease on the shaft. Just squeeze it on there. And Bob's your uncle. So guys, at a final little addendum to the clutch cable issue, what I found was once I removed the clutch cable in question, I actually lined it up next to the old clutch cable, which I took off just before the Adventure Bike Festival, which you may remember from an earlier episode when I was testing the tyres. So I lined them both up, and the new one, which has only seen about 4 days of riding, is about 2mm longer than the old one, which is from 2011. So go figure. The new cable actually was a third-party part, and it came from Wimoto. Not that it's their problem that their cable was crap, but yeah, not very happy about that. But what do you do? I've actually chucked some glunk down the old clutch cable and some 3-in-1, and put the old clutch cable back on. So that will have to do for now. But little lesson in life there: don't buy really cheap cables. Buy yeah, I think you could probably get away with some cheap things, but really not as I found clutch cables, because they're a load of old toss. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this little video. Please like and share and subscribe. Tell your friends. Leave a comment below, actually, if you've got any more advice or tips or questions or anything like that. Please don't hesitate to post below there, down there, in that bit, you know the one. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you again pretty soon. Bye for now.